Hey y'all, so I wanted to go ahead and do this video because let me first introduce myself. My name is Bibi Nyano and I run a company called Rich Happy Healthy Life, and I started this company probably a couple of years ago because my life was everything but rich, it was everything but happy, and it was everything but healthy. It was complete opposite. I was overweight, I was out of breath, I didn't have enough stamina, I was $7,000 in debt to other people, and I just did not feel happy or healthy in my relationships. And so I wanted to chronicle what it took to get me from where I was to where I am now, which is loving the job that I have in my office, eating amazing things that make my body feel good, and cultivating relationships that also make me feel good about myself. So I wanted to go ahead and do this quick video vlog because actually I have been eating everything instead of taking into account what I'm putting in my body. So I have a couple of notes that I'm gonna go over with you guys today. It'll kind of be conversational, even though I'm kind of recording this in advance. And I wanted to talk about fasting and sacrifice. Get what you want. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, I want the body goals now. And I just want to be healthy now. But a lot of times you have to be able to fast and sacrifice to get what you want. And so a lot of the stuff that I teach comes from the experiences that I've had in my own life. So I have to go through something, learn from it, master it, and then I can teach it. So lately I've noticed that probably about 2 weeks ago, that I've been eating everything like pizza. I got back into eating chicken, which if you know part of my story, I was vegan for about 2 years. And then I moved to West Africa for a really prestigious fellowship, and I started eating chicken and fish again, and it was delicious. So lately I've been eating everything, including dairy, which my body has not been responding well to. And so usually when I start eating everything, that means for me it's time to get quiet and actually figure out, why am I eating everything? Why am I ingesting everything? Because food is not just a source of nutrition. It's actually also a way that you feel about yourself. When I don't feel good about myself, I tend to go towards the cookies, the cakes, things that are sweet, things that are salty, things that make me feel good, because I'm usually looking to those foods to provide me with what I'm not giving myself emotionally and spiritually. And so when I realized that I was eating any and everything, and also not being financially astute with my money, I realized it was time to fast and sacrifice. I first learned about fasting, I guess, in a spiritual sense. It's a way that you supplicate, that you ask for something. So in this culture of microwave mentality, where it's like you put it in a microwave, get my life, get it out, and it's amazing. But when you supplicate, it means that you actually have to ask for what you want. But in order for you to get what you want, you have to give something up. I was looking, I think, at something by Myleik Teele, who is the founder and owner of Curlbox. And she was saying that to get to the next level, you can't take your old life with you. And that made a lot of sense. And so when you look at fasting and sacrificing, whatever you're trying to get to, you can't take everything with you. So you actually have to give it up. And so for fasting, for me, it's a way for me to really reset my body and reset my mind and reset my spirit. But it also gives my digestive tract a break. So when you're consistently eating, consistently taking things in, it's the same thing with life. When you stop eating and you fast on whether it be green juice or water or just smoothies, but you give something up to kind of give your body a break, it's the same thing with life. We are in a consumer culture where we just consume and we consume and consume. And so a lot of the benefits for fasting and sacrifice are you're going to have more focus, because the less you consume, the more you are able to create and listen. Things on the outside are not going to bother you as much. Things that are external to you are not going to bother you as much. People's issues, the world's problems. When you start to go inside internally and look at fasting and focusing and sacrificing, you start to really get clear about your life's mission. I know that for me, when I fast, the first couple of days are really difficult. But when I've gotten into it, it's as though I can really, for me, hear the voice of God, or hear what people call the Holy Spirit, or that inner voice. I can really fine tune it and really hear it. You start to gain more control of your life, you have more discipline, and your relationships also start to change when you start fasting and when you start sacrificing. Because when you start fasting, you're not allowing everything in. So because you're fasting from a certain way of eating or food or drinks, that means you're also going to be fasting from certain relationships, because you're going to be super sensitive and attuned to what's going on. So things are going to become more vivid for you. So certain relationships that may not feel good, you're going to notice those a lot more, that you may not have noticed when you were like eating everything and consuming everything. And another benefit to fasting is self-care. Fasting for me is self-care, because I can't indulge in the same type of behavior that I was indulging in before if I want to have a successful fast. So why are we talking about fasting? Why are we talking about sacrifice? And what does this have to do with body goals? Because I'm the queen of body goals. So what does that mean? Why is this important? Everybody wants body goals, but no one wants to give up anything. And I talked about this. Body goals for me, if you followed me and you've paid attention to a little bit of my program, body goals for me is not having like rock hard abs and like being a supermodel. Body goals for me is more so taking care of your body on a holistic way, not starving your body to look a certain way. I believe that all bodies are beautiful, as long as your body is functioning at the optimum level. And so for me, I don't believe in body shaming, but I do believe in taking care of your body. And what I mean through that is listening to your body. Your body does not lie. It will tell you the truth. Mine told me the truth when I was climbing a flight of stairs and I could not breathe. And my body was like, maybe we should walk every day, BB, so we can get some more exercise and so you're not out of breath. And I was like, you're right, body, maybe we should. So that's important in the sense that it's not just about aesthetics. Aesthetics is just a byproduct of when you start fasting and sacrificing. When I created Body Goals Breakthrough, which is one of my flagship programs, it wasn't to lose 10 pounds in a week. It was more so to connect back to the pieces of yourself that you had disconnected through, by just eating certain foods that don't make you feel good in the long run. So body goals isn't about getting that hashtag aesthetically pleasing body goals. That's just a byproduct. And it's important to talk about fasting not as a means to body goals, but as a means to having a breakthrough to get you to your body goals, because you will end up getting the body that you quote unquote want when you start taking care of it. And so the way to actually start taking care of it is to actually start fasting. And some of the things that started to change for me when I started to do periods of fasting was it got me to get in touch with my finances. Like I mentioned, I was $7,000 in debt. I'd never been that much in debt. I was underemployed, then I was unemployed. It made me take a look at the relationships around me and what relationships revolved around the food that I was eating. And I also want to talk about my longest fast ever for me was a year. I fasted from sex and alcohol. And it was just a period where I just needed to get super clear, and it needed to be something that was hard. So alcohol and sex for a lot of people, me at the time, was really difficult. In law school, I also did a fast. I fasted from chicken for a month in January. So it was a way for me to focus in school, to not get kicked out of school, because law school is really difficult. And it also made me focus on the positives in my relationship. So I fasted from chicken for a month, but it was definitely a sacrifice. Another fast that I've done, that I've most recently done, which was one of the hardest ones, besides the no sex and no alcohol, was I fasted from wheat, sugar, dairy, and meat for a month in January. And it was really intense. So those are some of the fasts that I've done. A colleague of mine, she usually fasts from social media for a month in January. And one of the biggest challenges that I've had so far is completing a 21-day, no complaining, no gossiping, no negative language fast. And so that's something that I really want to be able to do as a fast. So I just wanted to give you guys examples in terms of the different fasts that you can do, that you are not relegated to like doing what I do, but more so tapping into what do you think would be something that's difficult, but not too difficult, but that would be a sacrifice for you to really see some breakthroughs in your life. So fasting from food or fasting from certain behavior is like eliminating so you can gain. It's like getting rid of stuff so you can gain. So you can never receive when your arms or your hands are clenched and they're closed. You more so are able to receive when your arms and hands are open. And so it's the same thing when you get rid of stuff, as in food, behavior. It gives you a moment to kind of reflect on some of the traumatic things that may have happened in your life, and it allows you to focus on yourself and what's going on in your life, because it's never about the other people or the situations. It's always whatever's going on inside of us. So fasting allows you to do that. My advice is to start with a 3-day fast. If you are new to fasting, if you've never done it before, you're intrigued. It's something that I teach through my Body Goals Breakthrough. We talk about doing a social media fast so that you can actually focus on healing, because a lot of times our energy is always outward. It's never inward. And so with social media, we tend to consume images, videos. We're always consuming media. And so I think that doing a 3-day fast from social media is a great way to start a fast for you. So why do I do it for 3 days? I started doing the social media fast for 3 days because I would catch myself coveting other people's lives, and my life is amazing. Your life is amazing. Your life is amazingly blessed and full of grace when you take time to notice it and you're not focused on other people's lives. So it was time to get a life. It was time to get a goals. And so I want the same thing for you. If you feel like it's time to get your life together, get your goals together, because I felt like I was just scrolling. And so it might be time for you to do a 3-day fast. If body goals is your thing for the next 3 days, then maybe you should focus on, okay, instead of scrolling on Instagram or being on Facebook, what can I focus on during that time? Because what you'll also notice is, what I've noticed is that we spend a lot of time wasting time, and time is our precious commodity. Before you know it, a week has passed, a month, a year, and you're like, how am I 50? And so I think that it's really important to notice those things and what